everybody? It is Monday, January 30th, 2023, and you are watching the Wrestling Republic daily broadcast, and it's Mailbag Monday, so we'll be going through your questions later on in the show today. But first of all, today I'm joined by Soul and Coby. How are you, Soul?
Good as always, mate. Bit knackered, out drinking last night. No hungover, don't worry. Just really, really knackered.
Oh, I know how that feels. I really, really do. What about you, Coby? How are you today?
I'm doing fine. Time to finish off the weekend strong and then take my break from the broadcast, but I'll be back on Friday.
Nice. Yeah, and as you guys have noticed, Clark is not here today. He's got his well-deserved day off after I think it's 6 days in a row he's done. But today we've got quite a few important topics to get through, and the first one is Jey Uso has seemingly left the Bloodline. He took to Instagram last night to just put "I'm out" along with the blood emoji, which basically all but confirms that he has indeed left the Bloodline. Now, could this mean that the Usos have split up for the first time? Could it mean that Jey might have another feud with Roman? There's a lot of possibilities here, but I mean, I'm going to be honest, I didn't think he'd be leaving it this quickly and via Instagram, but this Sammy storyline has just gotten a little bit even more interesting. But what are your thoughts on all of this, Saul?
I mean, if anything, it's a weird conclusion to have after all of this, that he just leaves by Instagram. He's basically ignored Roman's DMs and just made a public post like, I'm gone. Weird. But Jey and Roman's had the history, the Hell in a Cell match. I really was a big fan of that one. I loved it. No complaints of it at all. Can we get them again? Because I don't know if their schedule's the same. Like, from what I remember, WWE have Elimination Chamber and then Fastlane. I don't know if Fastlane's still a thing.
No, it's just Elimination Chamber this year.
I was going to say, they could have done Jey as a feud before Mania or something like that. I guess maybe at Elimination Chamber, I don't know. But it's just weird. I mean, for the Usos, they still have the titles, so how's that going to work? It's like, oh, I'm so done with this shit. It's like, oh, mate, you got a match in SmackDown in 2 days. Come on, you need to come back. He's like, all right, fine, I'll do the match. I just think it could have been better. If this is just a hint, but I hope we get something on TV that specifically states, yeah, done, dusted. What's the future for the Usos?
Yeah, no, I mean that's a great point that you made. They both still have the tag team titles, so how are you gonna navigate that one now? In fact, I pitched this weeks ago. Well, not the Jey leaving part, but I pitched weeks ago that the Usos should lose both their titles before the Rumble. Just to create more tense atmosphere within the Bloodline, leading to the Sammy turn. But I mean, they've now still got both the titles, so perhaps this divide between them is what causes them to lose the titles. For example, they're not on the same page or something, and that would, in the long term, when they go back together, make them look stronger and less weak. They never lost the titles when they were both on the same page. So that is a possible theory and a possible way they could go about it. But what do you think, Coby?
I think it's very much an interesting thing that Sami Zayn is out and then Jey Uso is out as well. I saw a tweet last night. It was like Roman pie facing Sami Zayn was like a very flashback moment of Jey Uso getting the early abuse in the very early runs of the Tribal Chief when it was still Thunderdome. So it was like, did Jey Uso just get hurt by Roman's abuse to Sami Zayn, or was it that much of a flashback that it's like you hurt someone who earned my trust like a brother, all that? Is Jey Uso going to be one to side with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? Who knows? I'm still at the point where it's like I'd still rather see Roman versus Zayn or Roman versus Roman versus Jey Uso at WrestleMania. I'm still in that position where it's like I still don't feel like Roman Cody at this point is a WrestleMania match. And I think that is the direction as of right now, because we really only have one main champion, and it's not like Cody's going to say, "Hey Gunther, let's make history, and I'll use my Rumble ticket on your title," which would add prestige to the IC title, but I don't see it happening There's probably like a 0% chance.
No,
I think it's interesting that Jey did tease him facing Roman again, because saying let's run it back. So like at the end of the day, I'd be interested in it.
Oh, certainly. I absolutely would be too. And that point you made as well just then about the possibility of Cody going after another title. We'll get into that in just a little bit, actually, because of something that he's teased. But what you could do, if you do end up doing Zayn versus Reigns at Mania, which is, of course, what I think all three of us want, then, I mean, at Elimination Chamber, in theory, you could do Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. I'd love to see that six-man tag team match at Elimination Chamber. And that would certainly be a very fun match to happen. But now we'll move on to the next point. And that is, will Cody Rhodes bring back the Winged Eagle WWE title belt instead of going after Roman Reigns? Now, a lot of fans on social media, like we just stated, are pushing for Reigns versus Zayn instead of Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes has since posted a picture of the Winged Eagle belt to his Instagram story. So could they possibly bring the belt back and crown a new champion with the Winged Eagle belt for the Raw brand at Elimination Chamber, but for the winner then faces Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania for it? Now, I personally don't think that this is going to happen. I think it's a bit too far out there. But, you know, we can all hope. A guy can dream.
Oh.
But I'm really hoping that they do have a champion on Raw very, very soon. Now, Saul, what are your thoughts on that? Because we all know your thoughts on the Winged Eagle.
Well, look, I think if there's any championship Cody Rhodes should bring back, shouldn't be the Winged Eagle, not even the Big Eagle. It should be the goddamn spinner belt, baby. The best looking championship. Come on, it's the best one. Bring it back.
That coming.
Exactly, of course. What do you expect from me? This thing is beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and my back is hurting me because actually putting this on. Ow! But come on, look. I mean, you could bring it back, but looking from an actual practical point of view, it's not a design WWE hold. It was designed by Reggie Parks, if I'm correct. He's the main copyright holder of the belt design. He uses it licensed out for video games, merchandise. So unless WWE is going to pay the bucks of, licensing this belt for TV, which will probably be a lot more, are they willing to do that? Because even though we hate the big network logo belts now, marketing-wise, they do their job well to place the company's logo prominently. At the end of the day, it's over style or marketability. Which one do you want?
Yeah, that is a great point as well. It'd be very difficult championship belt to bring back, but Cody Rhodes has brought a belt back before. Admittedly, that was one WWE owned, but still, he's brought one back before, and I'm sure he's gonna be in Triple H's ear and annoy him about bringing him back, or even a variation of it back. But Coby, what are your thoughts on the possibility of Cody Rhodes bringing back the Winged Eagle, or even having that as a different title and going for that at WrestleMania?
Like, I want to look at things from a perspective of a booking standpoint. Yes, anything's possible. Yes, they could get a custom one that has Winged Eagle elements. They can do it themselves. They're not gonna not be able to do something they want. At the end of the day, I don't know what could happen, because we're looking at it from, is this a 2014 scenario? We saw Batista win the Royal Rumble, Randy Orton was world champion, and everyone was kind of putting to stardom Daniel Bryan. Are we going to see that with Sami Zayn, where it's like, well, we really want Sami Zayn in the main event? And Cody Rhodes is, as much as Cody's doing his job, he's selling the merchandise, he got the pop, he got a little bit of booze, but at the end of the day, he did his job and returned and had a successful return. How could we separate it without making Roman look bad? At the end of the day, like, does Cody Rhodes, like, is this Cody Rhodes bringing it back to Adam, or bringing it to Adam Pearce? Like, I got an idea. You need a championship. Let's bring this back. And it's like, it's an honor thing where he brings it back, but at the Elimination Chamber, they crown his competitor for the WrestleMania match. But at the end of the day, you're in a pickle because the only one that makes sense is Seth Rollins. You're not going to do Cody and Kevin Owens unless you have Cena in the money or not, unless you have Cena in the chamber to win. Like at the end of the day, Cody Rhodes versus Seth and Cody Rhodes versus Roman are the only two matches that actually make sense for WrestleMania. So you are in a genuine pickle. And I do like the idea of Roman main eventing twice. I do. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But I do think they need to split the belts up twice. Everyone does believe it. Because as a 3-hour show and you don't have a top champion, like I know they're kind of putting the U.S. title in that position. It's not working out to the best of its ability. But there's very much a big gap on the Monday Night Raw brand right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And a point which you did touch on there was about Cody Rhodes getting a few boos during the Royal Rumble match when he won it. And we touched on yesterday where I thought that he was basically booked like a heel. Like it was quite, in a way, which was quite a weird way to do it. But especially that actually almost makes me think that perhaps they'll turn Cody heel and they'll do face Seth Rollins versus Cody at WrestleMania. But then again, Cody hates being a heel, so I very much doubt that'll be the case. But my question for you guys is, do you think that Cody Rhodes will be booed tonight? What do you think, Saul?
I mean, this is going to be a problem for Cody long term if he just refuses to go with the crowd and turn heel, because he's done it before in Ring of Honor and it's been really grand, as well as his little stint in Impact. But if he's so cloud nine on being face, I mean, I can understand if it's something you want to do and it's what you want to do at the moment, and he's obviously doing the whole idolize his father thing, winning the championship. That's a fine story in itself, but you're trying to compete with the natural occurring storyline of Sami Zayn. You're gonna be basically fighting an uphill battle. And it's kind of like what happened in AEW as well. Before he left, there were many top faces in AEW at the time. You know, Hangman, Mox, Punk, and Bryan too. Well, Bryan was kind of healers, but whatever. It's kind of like, you really got to go with the flow. If you're still pushing back, that's going to be hurting you long term. Because if you always just want to be a babyface and not switch up a bit, then what evolution can your character have? So I think if the crowd goes that way tonight and just boos him outright, and it's like AEW again with them throwing back the belt, booing him every second he's on TV, then you got to go with it, mate.
Yeah. He really didn't want to do it in AEW, and he really wants that moment as, a babyface to just hold up that belt. But I think it's inevitable fans will turn on him. It's just whether or not it'll be something like tonight, or whether or not, and I don't think, I'm going to be honest, my personal prediction is that it won't be tonight. Maybe you'll have a couple, but I think the vast majority of people will still cheer for him. But I think it'll be once he wins the championship, if he wins the championship at Mania, which I presume he will, I think it'll be following that. Fans will start to turn on him, similar to what happened to Seth in 2019, I believe. But Coby, what are your thoughts? Do you reckon he'll get booed tonight?
I don't know. I don't think he'll get booed, and I kind of want to. I want to view the AEW conversation from a different perspective, and that's because he was the poster boy, in a sense. He was on the media calls. He was the one executive that could do a professional media call and sound like someone the company could be proud of. He didn't want to put himself in the position where, while he's heel, why is he doing the media calls in that way? I think from the standpoint of he just didn't want to turn heel because he had such a position in the company that it didn't make sense for him to turn heel. Yes, you can kind of say, well, the Elite did, but at the end of the day, they never turned heel. Like they weren't getting booed out of the building like Cody Rhodes was. They're still very much an over act, not so much as a heel act. But Cody Rhodes getting booed was a result of just the fans believing it and like I don't want to say this is true. I think that was part of the reason why he left. Is Tony was like very much pushing this. We want to do what the crowd want. The crowd want us to do that. Let's try to do it. And Cody's obviously very adamant about it. I think, given the platform, given the people involved in the WWE, I think he could physically work it out better in WWE than in AEW. So I'm not going to say it's ruled out in WWE, but I don't think he's going to get booed anytime soon. If you have a revolt where, like you said, we're getting the Kofi Mania type push where Kofi had the loss and they really just had to put Kofi in the main event instead. And like, unless Cody's directly going after Sami Zayn, I don't think you can really say anything's going to happen to Cody unless he has a poorly booked reign later, which I don't think it will. Like, I mean, Seth and Becky's big problem in 2019 were the lack of competitors. Becky Lynch was so hot after winning the Mania main event, and then she was in a feud with Lacey Evans for 3 months.
And Baron Corbin as well.
Seth was with Baron Corbin, yes. Well, no, Seth had AJ Styles, which was a phenomenal match, and then it was Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
But Baron Corbin and Seth Rollins, you're not going to get as much. Seth kind of became, I'm just Mr. Face of the company, Mr. Corporate, and Becky was kind of losing steam because they didn't have a credible heel. Yes, the mixed tag match was great. I loved it, the Extreme Rules match. But at the end of the day, like, they both lost steam. They were both like, we're already sick of it. And then Seth didn't help because he was pushed into a feud with Bray. And we're not going to get into that because I've already talked about Bray enough this weekend.
Unfortunately, we're going to talk about it some more later on, Coby. But that's not where we're going directly from here, because right now we are heading into Mailbag Monday, where you guys send in your questions via our Instagram stories every Monday morning. Now, we have a few questions here today, and the first one is linking into directly what we were just talking about with Cody and what's going to happen at WrestleMania. And yes, we've just all given a few theories, but I want to ask you all specifically this question, and this comes from, let me try and pronounce this, Kaistav _the_notorious on Instagram, and he is asking us: Cody has to challenge Reigns for a single world title. Which title do you think will be on the line? I actually misread this the first time I read it. I've now realized what he's saying. I don't think that is a rule, because at this point in time they were both together. Now I'm going to slightly adjust your question and ask it in a different way as to, what do you guys personally think will be the plan? Do you guys think it is as simple as he's going to face Reigns? Or do you think he will introduce another title and they'll crown them at Elimination Chamber his competitor for WrestleMania? Or do you even think they'll go after Gunther or the United States champion Austin Theory? I'll start with you, Saul. What do you think will happen?
I mean, to go back to what the original question was asked by the gentleman there, I think the way to make that work and be effective is Cody takes the WWE Championship and Sami, if able, it takes the Universal, because the Universal is the one giving Roman his numbers, pretty much, the big 800 one. Imagine how your former disciple comes and takes your big crowning achievement away that gets you from being recognized like Bruno Sammartino in the record books. So I think, yeah, if Cody takes the WWE Championship, Sami takes the Universal, because this whole, as I've said multiple times before, this whole unified title thing is rubbish. It doesn't mean anything. If the Usos can just split their title up like a goddamn pendant, I think Roman can too. But to go back to what you said, Allison, as well, I think, it's weird because with the Rumble, like, people have won it and then not got the main event. They've just, like, Kofi did, he wasn't the main event. Seth he was opening match. I mean, they can say whatever they want, but at the end of the day, when the day comes, you can end up just being halfway through the card or the start of the card or whatever. So it could be put at any spot during it. If Seth was to no sorry Seth, if Cody was to challenge Gunther for his IC title, I have no complaints of that because I would elevate the IC title to stratosphere kind of levels. Like a man, I mean, hey, Austin Theory cashed in the United States Championship. Anything can happen. So I mean, yeah, that's all I got to say. You're muted, Allison.
Sorry. In fairness, Kofi didn't win the Royal Rumble, did he?
No, sorry, no.
No, it was Rollins.
Yeah, Rollins at you, but you're right. There's been multiple where they, Edge, I believe, won the Rumble, like 2010 was it, and didn't end up actually main eventing, if I'm correct saying that. But yeah, I also
I don't
this.
Well, no, I mean that is wrong because 2010 was main evented by Career versus Steak, not Steak Streak.
Yeah.
Streak.
That's what
100% is right that
Jericho
Edge wasn't a main event. I mean, neither was Shinsuke Styles.
Yeah,
that happened.
That's a good point. Yeah, of course, that's the most recent one. But also, when I originally read this question out a second ago, I was thinking, well, to my knowledge, they haven't said that Reigns, and I still don't think they have said that Reigns can only challenge for one title. But upon actually thinking about that, Cody can only challenge for one title. But upon thinking about that now, that is the way to split that up. You say, okay, Cody can only challenge for one of them. That is, and like you said, Soul, he challenges for the WWE Championship, and it's solved. You've split them up. And then night 2 can be Sami versus Reigns. But I don't know if they'll do that because at that time you can't have Reigns lose the match on night 1. You cannot, because then going into the match on night 2 he'll look weaker. So it'd have to be the match on night 2 he'd lose. And would you do? I mean, blatantly, if that was the case, it would blatantly be Cody winning. So then would he really beat Sami on night 1 of WrestleMania? And would that mean that the fans would then boycott the main event night 2 if Sami's that over? There's a few different ways, a few different possibilities that are a bit risky. But what do you think about it all, Coby?
I mean, I think that if that is the move, it's clear he's going to go for the WWE title based on the destiny, based on his wanting to fulfill the thing for his father, Dusty Rhodes. In terms of what could happen, like that's the thing is, I'm not against it. I'm not against having 2 Roman main events, but at the end of the day, he'd have to win. He'd have to win one and not the other, and he can't win night 1. So unless that's the thing, is Cody gonna lose? Does Cody lose and then win something later on? I don't know. But then does Sami get his crowning moment? If not, who's next? We really have there's no clear direction other than Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns is in fact the biggest story in the WWE, in wrestling, one of the most well done storylines in the past at least 10 years. And it's a puzzle because Cody Rhodes won the Rumble. And he has to come into this in some way, some form. Clark said this to me last night off air, and he said, well, this is where the Money in the Bank should be into play. Yes and no, because then, I wouldn't want to have Theory cash in and at the Chamber and win the title and then do whatever. But I don't know. It's a puzzle. I hope they do it right at the end of the day. I don't want to be disappointed. I don't think we will. But Triple H commented on the press conference that he likes the pressure booking his first WrestleMania, and I think he is going to deliver. And we're along the ride at the end of the day.
And we will all be there as well in LA for the show, and I'm beyond hyped for that. In April, I'm counting down. I'm counting down the days at this point. Yeah. But it'll certainly be. Let's hope it'll be a great show. But of course, we are now on the road to WrestleMania officially, and this leads to our next question by @Josea99 on Instagram, and he's asking, do you expect any returns tonight on Monday Night Raw? Now, in theory, you'd hope for no returns in the Raw after Mania episode purely because they should have just been the Rumble. But they did it with, of course, Samoa Joe a couple of years back, and they've done it a few times over the years. But do you see any happening tonight, Coby?
I mean, like, define. Like, I guess you could consider Asuka's returning to television if you're going to consider that, because she's still a part of the Raw roster. I don't know if you'll have like a return that we haven't seen of anyone, unless we're really going to get like a big move that is coming. I don't know who could come out. For shits and giggles, are we going to see Goldberg spear Omos or something like that? I don't know. I mean, I guess Edge and Beth will probably be on TV, because I assume Chamber's going to have some form of mixed tag, because Rhea's going to look strong coming into WrestleMania. And then they'll probably do one more Mania match, or one more match between Edge and Balor at WrestleMania. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I don't know who could, unless I don't know. I don't think there's going to be a full-on return. Maybe a return to Monday Night Raw television, if you're going to consider it that way. Yeah,
of course, Cody.
Exactly. Cody will return to TV in living color or in live format, aside from the taped videos. But I guess more of a question is are we going to get Roman tonight? That I don't want to say that's more of a question, but like, are we going to get some form of Bloodline tonight, or are they going to make us wait to do something, or wait for SmackDown to know stuff? Like, I guess the next move.
Yeah.
In this awesome storyline.
Yeah, I think because, of course, Raw has Cody now, I think they'll probably just do Cody tonight, if I was to guess, because, of course, there's still 2 months until Mania. I think they'll want to drag out. But then again, there's only a month until the Elimination Chamber, if that is where Sami versus Roman's happening. So, I mean, perhaps he will be, but if I'd put my money on it, I wouldn't say that Reigns will show up tonight, but we will get Cody. I will, of course, get Rhea as well. Both Royal Rumble winners were actually on Raw this year. That's quite interesting. But, what about you, Soul? Do you see any returns happening? And please don't say Matt Cardona.
Why are you hating on the Deathmatch King, bro? Why are you hating on the Deathmatch King? Come on, respect the man's name. I mean, honestly, I just wanted Matt Cardona to do awesome things. Man's awesome. But move on to actual question here. If you were going to do any returns, why would you do them tonight and not the Rumble, which is the big show thing where people can expect to make the returns? If you do it tonight, then you're booking wrong. But I mean, I feel like for tonight is going to be, and you look at a network thing, you're going to make the networks happy. You're going to make USA and Fox happy. So have tonight be Cody, and then Friday be Sami. Networks are happy. They both get the biggest angles from that. And also Rhea can do her wee little thing tonight. I feel like tonight we'll probably get Asuka versus somebody, maybe Chelsea Green if she's on the Raw roster or something like that. Cody will probably do a segment. And I don't really know what else. Rhea will have a segment. Maybe something with Judgment Day and Edge and something like that. Besides that, I mean, I don't think anything has been announced for Raw tonight, has it? Or am I just mistaken?
As of this afternoon, they hadn't, at least. But I think Cody checking now.
Because, I mean, that's a bit weird.
There's no email promoting the show, because there's often emails promoting it. There's nothing.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it's just a clip show tonight.
No, it won't be.
We're not getting 2015 all over again, where they aired the Rumble on television.
Yeah, no, it'll be just not. It'll be a normal episode. They do often just post pay-per-views where people are already excited. They often do just keep, unlike AEW do announce everything. WWE do when. I know obviously some new era now with Triple H and all that, but after big shows, they usually do just keep everything a secret. But yeah. Also, according to PW Insider, there's an injury update following the Royal Rumble last night. However, It's not to a wrestler. A WWE producer.
To the ref.
A WWE producer who came out to split up the Judgment Day and Edge's brawl has torn his calf trying to split them up.
Goddamn Judgment Day are so much bad guys they can even injure the staff.
I was going to say, what was it the ref that Brock Lesnar choked? That's what I was going to say as a joke, but
yeah, it was Ken Dykstra Doan who.
No, that's Kenny Dykstra.
No,
he was in the Spirit Squad.
Oh,
no,
that's a wrestler. He was a wrestler.
Oh, yeah,
this is
I
true
never
horror.
knew that name. But that is. I hope they make this an angle now. I really, really, really do. I hope everybody gets suspended because of it. You see the hospital, all of that.
Nah, give us Kenny Dykstra versus Dominic Mysterio at Mania.
I was going to say, no, Dominic has to get suspended again, and then they can
He's sent to jail again.
Why am I being oppressed on type stuff?
Just Dominic's going to get sent to jail every TV taping.
Yeah, and Clark Taylor, who's on his day off today, has commented MV. Who? MVP. He's trying to steal your gimmick, Soul, as the MVP of Wrestling Republic.
Hey, whoa, come on now. As the one who has all the connections for you guys, put respect on my name.
And now we'll go into our second final question of our Mailbag Monday. And this is from, again, Kostav _the Notorious on Instagram. And he is saying, Wyatt is not being used properly. They should have let him enter into the Rumble. He must win a world title. And I'm going to be honest, I couldn't disagree more with an opinion. I don't think I ever have done. Keep Bray Wyatt away from the title picture. Now, I'm a Bray Wyatt fan. I really hated the match at the Royal Rumble, but I am a Bray Wyatt fan. But I do not think he should be anywhere near a title because it just doesn't suit him. Him being a champion, it hurts the gimmick and it hurts everybody involved. It doesn't work. So just keep him away and keep him as his own thing. He draws money on his own. He doesn't need the title. So just, leave him do his own thing there. But what do you think, Coby?
No, I mean, so put it this way. What would he have entered the Rumble as? Would we have just gotten the same? I'll humor his idea for a second. I'll humor it. Who is he going to represent in the Rumble? Is he going to? Would he have showered? Would he have showered to remove all the UV paint and came out normal? I'm trying to be Bray Wyatt again. What would have been the move at the end of the day? And he couldn't have won the match either. It would have been put it this way: if he was in the Rumble, it would have been a waste of a spot because he was in a position of he couldn't lose, but he shouldn't have won at all. But I 100% agree. He should not be in the world title picture. We saw what happened last time. We saw what happened multiple times, actually. And he's better off. I don't want to say he's better off in a chase position, but he's better off having other feuds where he can do a storyline based on something other than on something else that's not revolving around a world title. Because theoretically, why would the Fiend or why would whatever the new character is, if it's Uncle Harper or whoever this is, why would this gimmick why would it care about a world title at the end of the day? How are you going to... it is. He doesn't... I don't want to say he's being underutilized because he's had 3 months to do something interesting and not that interesting, but...
Yeah.
For me... He's like The Undertaker. He doesn't need a world title to be elevated. But I want to say this about Bray Wyatt. I think he's making his whole shtick too goddamn complicated. He's adding too many characters. He's referencing to the old stuff. I mean, if you were a casual viewer and you were kind of all right, this guy is multiple personality. His other personalities hit him. Now he's a children's entertainer on a TV show with some old puppets. Now he's in a face paint and he's basically grew a mask. Then he's watched his other personality elbow drop, miss the other guy, and he's had his puppets on. look, I think for what all, like, Bray just needs to chill it. I mean, how much confusing can this get? I mean, for all the bad, at least with Vince in charge, he kind of pulled him back a wee bit, and we knew what the Fiend was. The Fiend was an alternate personality of a children's entertainer who just basically beats people up. Now we've got this one with a multiple personality. He grew a mask. Is this Uncle Harper, a new personality debuted at the Rumble? Why are the old Firefly Funhouse puppets overlooking that stuff now? It's too much. He's making it way too complicated. He's been there for 3 or 4 months. He's absolutely just done nothing. I don't know. I mean, probably with the merch sales, he's been an investment, but as an investment on the roster, he's not. I mean, I'm sorry. I'll say it right here. Bray Wyatt, for his return, has not been worth it.
Wow. That's not that controversial.
It's not that controversial, but
you know how Instagram is.
Oh yeah, 100%. But Soul's statement is tied into what I said yesterday, and I said the way I explained it is as a reviewer, but as someone who's watching the product pretty regularly. Like I'm barely gonna miss a show unless I'm going for a wrestling event myself. But at the end of the day, I myself cannot explain Bray Wyatt's storyline. And I can explain Alexa Bliss's storyline. That's why I kind of said, well, Alexa's situation is more intriguing to me. Yes, I'm an Alexa fan, but yes, I'm a Bray Wyatt fan. I understand he's worth a lot of money. He's making the money for the company. I assume the Mountain Dew were probably happy with the match. At the end of the day, he's doing his job as a business investment, but as a part of the product, he's not adding to the show. He is not. I think people are now realizing LA Knight was the star of that rivalry, and now he's the one with the shaft. Because where can LA Knight go now that is better from this? We talked about LA Knight being a phenomenal performer, and he is. But we joked about it in our watch party. Is this Bray Wyatt's peak or not? Is this LA Knight's peak?
Mm-hmm.
It better not be, because that was utter garbage on that show. And I guess this is me shooting on the comments from Instagram. Ooh. Someone said if this was AEW, it'd be getting high. Look at me, man. I'm the unbiased one here. You're not gonna get me praising AEW at the end of the day.
Heretic.
And wow. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. He's not adding to the product. He's not. That's all that can be said.
Yeah, I mean, some of the segments have been good segments, right? Let's not get it wrong. Some of the segments have been good, but I do agree with Soul's point that I don't think it's been worth the investment, especially considering, if you listen to reports, apparently it's that the fee's quite high as well. So who knows if it really is? But the next question, and the final question of Mailbag Monday, actually comes from a non-wrestling fan. And Eve King is asking, how collaborative is the preparation between two fighters before a wrestling match? And this is a great question, actually. And a lot of people who are non-wrestling fans think that, they go into the ring before the match and they just start, preparing and wrestling and, doing it all beforehand, rehearsing, basically. That was what I was looking for, rehearsing. And then they go back out then in front of the crowd and do the match. But in reality, it is not like that at all. It really is. What they do is they talk about it in the back. They talk about what they're going to do. They go through it often with a producer, although on the independent scene that often isn't even the case. They just talk about it to themselves. Then they go out there and perform in front of the fans. And in fact, a lot of the time, especially with the top wrestlers in the business, they don't even know the middle. They'll always know what the start and end is. They'll always know that. But with the top competitors, a lot of the time they don't know a lot of the middle of the match. They'll decide it as it's going through, and they just know each other so well that they know, what's going to happen. They can just understand each other's body movements in the ring. Like, this is why it is such a skill, professional wrestling. And it's why a lot of, MMA fighters come into professional wrestling and really struggle to, get to grips with it. Because it really is, it's almost in a way a dance. It's a dance which hurts your body even more than dance. But it's very unique and unlike anything else. But it isn't like they just go rehearse it beforehand. They understand it all. And the main reason that they don't rehearse it is because it would be too dangerous to rehearse it. It'd be too much of a, an injury risk. And also, they don't have the time to rehearse every wrestling match, they all do. But it's not worth it for injury's sake to even try rehearsing. Now, let's say a celebrity such as Logan Paul comes into WWE to do a match, then they will rehearse a few spots. They won't rehearse it the day of, but they'll rehearse it in the training on the way there, on the way to the match. But yeah, so that's basically it. So I hope that answers your question, Eve. Do you have anything to add, Sol?
I mean, if this person's wanting to learn more about that, I would think definitely research up the SummerSlam match between Bret Hart and British Bulldog for that kind of insight. That's all I'll say there. Just listen to Bret talk about how that match came about and the in-ring flow of it as well. That's always been remarkable to me. So yeah, SummerSlam, Bret, Bulldog, give that one a listen.
Yeah, no, that is a truly phenomenal match, and actually a real great match if you do want to get into wrestling. But what about you, Coby? Do you have anything to add to this question or any insight you'd like to give?
I think you very much covered the bases that I was going to go with, because I was going to talk about just the level of where it is. Like, yes, in the WWE, you're going to be with a producer. There's lists of these are the matches that happen on Raw. These were the producers for each match. There are people who get those reports, and often they're past wrestlers themselves. Something, I guess, for an example, like the LA Knight and the Pitch Black match was produced by TNA legend Abyss, also Chris Parks, but he's one that was very familiar with the dark stuff in the ring. But it's often as a wrestler, and you are going to get someone to format the match, and it's a lot more, if you want to describe it as micromanaged on WWE, and it is. I think it is starting to be slightly more micromanaged in AEW, but in the independent show, you'll have the booker, and you'll probably be told you have 10 minutes, 15 minutes. This is who I want, and often it's more like, if you want the booker's help to figure out stuff, you can, but it would be very much, you're gonna either call it in the ring and do everything on the fly, or you're gonna plan it yourself. But theoretically, matches are going to be planned because it is a performance. You're not. Ben said this. MMA fighters come into wrestling and have trouble is because you're not winning to fight. You're not wrestling to win. Like, you're not going to go in there and try to stomp Seth. Like, Seth isn't going to stomp Cody's head in 50 times to the mat and make sure he doesn't get up. No, you are very much doing it to make a performance. And make art, and that's kind of why. I mean, that kind of goes into the style of New Japan, where the fans are really treating this wrestling in Japan as an art form, and they're doing this for us, and that's why there's not a lot of booing. There's a lot of just applauding for good spots and good sequences. Yeah. So it really depends at the level, but
great point there, Coby. But that pretty much brings us to the end of today's show. Okay. You have like 20 seconds, Sol. You have like 20 seconds.
Well, I'll quickly save my thing here. As we know, episode 34 with Brooke Havoc is going to be coming out soon. But before that, there's not just one. There's not just two. There's not just three. There are 4 more episodes of the Soul Sessions piped in, ready for release as soon as the big man here gets on my thumbnails.
Yeah, it looks like I've got some editing to do. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Soul and Coby, for coming on the show today. Coby, I'll see you again on Friday. Soul, I'm not sure if you'll be joining us during the week or something, but if not, we will see you very, very soon. But thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you again, same time tomorrow. See you then.